Hey Facebook, we are here at VALIANT Comics in New York City, and I'm here with the Director of Marketing and Communications, Hunter Gordonson.
What's up, everyone?
He's going to give us an inside look at the office.
So VALIANT HQ, right here on 7th Avenue. So we're about, I don't know, 5 blocks from the Javits Center. So if any of you folks are going to New York ComicCon, we're going to be there again this October. We do give office tours from time to time. If you're going to be at New York ComicCon, stop by our booth. We'll do a little personal version of what we're about to show you. We got a lot of fun stuff to show you. Valiant's an awesome place to work, and we got a lot of exciting stuff going on. So, after you. So check it out. Welcome to Valiant headquarters. If you take a look to your immediate left, this is our awesome wall mural. This is by the great artist Kano, whose work you may know. He did The Delinquents for us. Many covers. Some great stuff on Swamp Thing in the past. Also, Daredevil with Mark Waid. He did this amazing universe image for us about 18 months ago, and the first thing we did when we moved into this office is pop this bad boy up on the wall. One of our favorite pieces of art, and really showcases the amazing cast of characters that make up the Ballet universe.
Who immediately catches your eye?
Immediately catches my eye? I've always preferred the smirk of one Ms. Livewire up there, but he's actually, Kano is one of the best artists in the business at facial storytelling. There's great expressions, and you can see everywhere from Armstrong to Archer to Exo to the hardcore down here to Divinity. Everyone stands out as a total individual. And there's I dare say, close to 1,000 characters on this entire thing. When you pull out, you can see it, we have it all over our website, but one of my favorite pieces of Valiant art and a great way to come into work every day.
That is an awesome way to welcome people to the office.
Yeah. So this is the receiving area. So you come into Valiant. One of the great things about working at a comic book company is that if you like comics, there are always comics being delivered. It almost never stops. So if you take a look around you, these are all of the new or upcoming books that we're just getting in from the printer. So we have Generation Zero, #1 by Fred Van Lente and Francis Portela. Just hit shelves this past Wednesday. Great reviews, on sale at Midtown. Awesome new book, great jumping on point for the Valiant universe. We have... You know what? I'm going to be a bad boy. I'm going to open one of these. I'm allowed to, trust me. This never happened, Greg. This is 4001 #4, the final issue of our big summer crossover. This is the variant cover by Clayton Crane. But wrapping up in about a week, this has been one of the best reviewed crossover events of the year, if not the best. Some amazing work. With developing the 41st century of the Valiant universe. Do you want to know how it ends, Greg?
I would love to.
This is the last page here. If you want to know what happens, you got to buy it. And you work at a comic book store, so I'm sure there's some way that we can make that happen for you. But lots of good stuff coming up. Exo Manowar 49. We just certified, we were just in Richmond, Virginia with the entire Valiant team. We certified the 1 millionth copy of Exo Manowar sold. We were at the printing plant as these books came off the line, and we did some pretty cool stuff. I'll show you one example, which is each one of these comes polybagged because there's a special surprise in each copy. I'm going to open another one again. Damaging the goods. So we're at the printing plant, and we got to see these go into the machine where they polybag comics, which if you've never seen it before, super cool, every fanboy's dream, get to actually be there as the books come off the line. But so in each copy of Exo Manowar 49, actually each copy of the final arc of Exo, Long Live the King, we've included one of these we're calling micro prints. Cool. And there's 50 of them. You can get original art cards. We had several prominent artists, some of our favorites, go in and do hand-drawn copies of these with their own takes on many Valiant characters. So we got to see those go into the printer, and then writer Robert Venditti signed a bunch of copies before they went into the polybagger. So if you've never gotten, you can open with, several of you out there can open that, get a special surprise. That does not happen every day in comics, where you get a signed comic fresh off the printer.
And for the people who are kind of new to the universe, there was also a handbook recently which can teach them about all the characters.
Most definitely. This just hit stands last week as well. This is the Valiant Universe 2016 handbook. 48 pages, $2.99, packed with virtually every character that plays a major role in what we're doing over the since the 2012 relaunch and into the future. Highly detailed. We packed more characters into here than ever before. Everyone from Archer and Armstrong, all the way to EXO.
Very cool.
You can have one.
Oh, thank you.
There you go. That's for you.
Can you
I'll
sign
that
it?
for you.
Yes.
I will make that happen. Over here, check this out. This is the 4001 interlocking mega cover, finally in its completed state. So what we did is there was 12 issues of the 4001 crossover in total. Each one got a different component piece of this awesome poster by the artist Ryan Lee. And this is issue, where's 4000? 4001 number 4, the final piece. So you can see actually finally assembled every major character from the crossover fighting the giant dragon form of Father in space. Awesome stuff. Now, the most exciting part of Valiant headquarters, the shipping room. We're starting off with the big guns here. Normally I wouldn't bring you in here, but this room plays a very important part in the operations of a comic book company. Everyone who writes or draws or colors or inks or works on our comics in any capacity gets copies of the book sent to them. We call those comps, complimentary copies. This is where comps come from. Also members of the press, some people get review copies of our books. All that stuff comes out of this room. So there's an incredible volume of comics flying through here, in addition to packages that we put together for retailers with cool things like the 4001 AD box knife, or the Wrath of the Eternal Warrior box knife, or a host of other promotional items that we may send out in a given week or month. We love promotional items. We have some really, really fun ones. Everything from standees, that's a Bloodshot standee, to header cards for displays, to posters, to a host of other things that we're constantly coming up with. It's one of the funnest part of our jobs, thinking of new kinds of comic book promo stuff. Now, this is actually one of the most fun parts of Valiant headquarters, the bullpen. Now, you'll hear a lot of other comic book companies in the history of comics talk about their bullpen. Very few of them actually had those. This is one of the few actually operating bullpens where people have a communal space to rap, talk about ideas in all of comics. It's a little empty today because we have 2 upcoming conventions this weekend, and it's wedding season. We got a bunch of people out of the office, but normally this is every desk in here is packed with an editorial, marketing, or licensing person, and we're all swapping ideas, talking about cool stuff that we have coming up. 2 of these fine people, if I may introduce you. This is Lauren.
Hi.
Lauren, say your last name so I don't botch it on the internet.
Hi, Susan.
Hi, Susan. There we go. And Danny Chasm, editor.
How's it going, guys?
What books are you guys working on right now?
I'm working on Britannia and Faith, mostly, and I'm also assisting on Savage.
Cool. How about yourself, Andy?
I am editor on ANA and Wrath of the Eternal Warrior. I'm also assisting on Exo Manowar, Ninjak, a few others, Divinity.
Cool. Now, Lauren, we sent Britannia #1 to the printer last week. How do you think it shaped up?
Honestly, I'm really excited about the book. I've been kind of obsessed with it since I first heard about it, and I think that it turned out really well. It's going to be so cool.
And you're a history buff, right?
Yes.
So you had to get in there and fact check all of the dates and names and places, right?
Yep.
Fun
Make sure everyone was wearing the right thing for the time period and all that fun stuff.
That's what we got in the superhero comics, was the fact checking. That's good. Danny, one thing that we are eagerly working on right now is Divinity 3, Stalinverse, which we've only spoken about in hushed tones publicly. What can you tell us about Divinity 3? Don't say too much.
I don't know if I can.
Or we're going to have to send Commander Bloodshot after you.
Yeah.
See what I did there?
Yeah, there's a lot of.
But you've read the
exciting
first
stuff.
issue, right?
Yes.
And has Trevor Hairsign started turning in pages?
And they are above and beyond what he did on 1 and 2.
Yes.
Gorgeous work.
Yeah, so this is going to be a nutso book that we're working on. I dare say almost like the Valiant version of Age of Apocalypse. We're going to get to do like our first full-on reality-breaking, reality-shattering storyline.
Yeah.
Truly an event-level thing. We're going to get to see Divinity pretty much wipe out the entire Valiant universe.
So,
Go ahead, Greg.
sure. Tony Port would like to know, when is the next XO comic coming out?
Oh, the next XO comic is XO 49, which comes out next week. And then next month in September, if you are an Exo Manowar fan, do not miss Exo Manowar 50. Exo Manowar 50 is the final issue of Robert Venditti's massive 56-issue run on the character, the longest run in Valiant history. Also, probably one of the longest running runs from any creator in modern superhero comics of the moment. That is a 64-page issue, massive oversized story from Rob. Every single artist who's worked on Exo Manowar since the 2012 relaunch, is coming back doing some pages in this book. Guest stories from Matt Kent, Jody Hauser, Philip Tan, a host of other creators. And then, if you're sad that Exo Manowar might be going away, read this issue very, very carefully. There is something that is going to make you, I won't say happy, but very, very curious about what the future may hold.
That was Tony's next question. He wants to know what comes after that. So stay tuned.
Exo Manowar 50, my friend. Do not miss that issue. You're going to be very, very interested in what those pages hold. And we're sending it to the printer today, so once we make the way around the offices, we might be able to show you a little tease. Can I introduce my good pal, Andrew?
Ahoy!
Andrew Steinbeiser, marketing manager of Valiant, also the most interesting man in the world.
The world.
So, Andrew, what are you working on right now?
Right now, I am working on our previews catalog.
Yep.
Can't show you any of the actual pages right now, but this is where we first disseminate all of our solicits that are coming out in December to the world.
Yep. So we're always working on the previews catalog. It's one of the most important things that we do. I'm sure if you guys are comic book fans, you guys know what that is. But next time you get a previews catalog, flip back to the Valiant section under V. Me and Andrew have slaved away on those pages. So soak them in, because so much hard work has gone into them. All right, let's take a little trip. Here you can see kind of our trade paperback library. This is everything that's currently in print, as well as some sample copies of stuff that may no longer be available, but we always make sure we have everything at hand in case one of the editors needs reference, or in case we have a special visitor to the office, like you fine gentlemen who may want a care package to go home with, or if we have to do the comp mailings like we just talked about, all that stuff gets sourced out of here. Greg, you're a regular Valiant reader, right? What's your favorite book right now?
I'm a Ninja guy.
You're a Ninja guy. You'll be very happy to know that the latest, you come take a little trip with me down here to N, the latest Ninjak trade paperback, Operation Deadside, now available. Volume 4, Siege of King Castle, coming up soon, and then we are going to be releasing a deluxe edition of Ninjak
Very cool.
in December. That will include the first 3 trades. I should also mention Ninjak, nominated for 7 Harvey Awards this year. One of the leading series of the Harvey Awards. But Valiant also nominated for a record-setting 50 Harvey Awards, the most ever for any publisher in the history of one of the most vaunted awards in all of comics. We are super, super proud of that. And that is an incredibly good segue into my friend Adam Freeman,
Hey,
director of sales at Valiant. And the reason I mention him and the Harveys in the same breath is because Adam is going to be leading the charge for Valiant this weekend at Baltimore ComicCon, home of the Harvey Awards.
That is very true.
Yeah.
Yes, we're about to head to Baltimore. In fact, I'm heading there this afternoon. We're going to be there for talking about our books to the book market. We're going to be there talking to comic book retailers for a couple of days, and then we're going to spend the next few days at Baltimore ComicCon, which is one of our favorite shows.
One of the best shows in the country, without a doubt. What's that behind you?
This
Oh, that there?
Oh, this thing?
Don't mind that.
This is the Exo Manowar luge suits.
Yeah, from the last Winter
right.
Olympics.
That's right.
Yeah.
We were the official sponsor of USA Luge.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that my own personal sweat's all over the inside of this, but I am saying that they won't allow me to give it to anybody else.
Yep. And he
So,
does keep it super close at hand.
At all times. You never know.
All times.
You never know when you need these kind of
Yep.
things.
But let's go. I'm going to take this Bloodshot plushie.
Okay.
You can't have this back.
Oh, hey, can I also show off my new favorite thing? The Valiant
sure.
Universe Handbook. I heard you guys talking about it. Signed by Mr. Peter Stern.
Oh,
if you
we're
get the
going
chance to meet him,
We're going to meet him.
he is a superstar.
You know what that's called? That's like that's foreshadowing.
That's what that is.
We're going to get around to
See
that
there?
other side of the office.
Storytelling right
Yeah.
here, baby.
Looks like we have a few quick questions.
Please.
One from Chad. Other than Britannia, I am personally excited for that one. What other future series are you excited to intro to the comic public?
So, back a few months ago, we did an event called Valiant Summit, live from Upright Citizens Brigade here in New York City. Hosted by myself. I must say I did a pretty good job pitching a whole wave of series that we have coming up. And at Valiant Summit, we announced 7 new books for an initiative called The Future of Valiant. That began with Faith. The latest book was Gen Zero that you just saw. Britannia is the book coming up in September. And then there's a few more awesome books coming up in that wave. That includes Bloodshot USA, Divinity 3 that we talked about just a few moments ago, Harbinger Renegades, which is one that we are super pumped for here in the offices. As you guys know, Harbinger, one of the biggest properties that Valiant has. Joshua Dysart did a really, really well-received, brilliant 25-issue run on that book, and now after a couple of years, it's finally coming back, and we're going to find out what has become of those characters. Great creative team working on this. Rafer Roberts, who you guys know from A&A, just nominated for 3 Harvey Awards this year, is writing it with art by Derek Robertson, one of the all-time greats working in comics today. You know him from The Boys, you know him from Transmetropolitan, you know him from Happy, Wolverine, the list goes on and on and on. Having the stuff that Rafer and Derek are doing on this book is going to blow your mind. And I mean that literally, because someone's mind literally gets blown in the first 10 pages of the book. And it's awesome. Yep.
Looks like Tony Port has 2 more questions. Big
Cool.
Valiant fan, obviously. Will Eric travel back in time to Britannia and be in that comic? Will he be in that time?
So, the story that Peter Milligan has created with Britannia exists in the Valiant universe. It begins in, Lauren, 65 AD?
60.
Oh, look at this. Real-time fact-checking, I told you.
Yeah. Oh, we're
65
like right
AD?
in the middle of his reign. Yeah, 65 AD.
Yep. So, Auric of Dacia is from the 5th century. He's from 402 AD. So while they're from the same general period in history, they are not from overlapping times. So Peter Milligan's point being, Peter Milligan's story stands on its own. It exists in the Valiant universe, but in the Valiant universe where characters like Time Walker exist, for instance, anything is possible, and it's certainly something that we've talked about being a possibility down the road. That being said, go into Britannia, appreciate it as its own thing. It's totally different than anything we've done before. I've described it as Game of Thrones meets Hellblazer. Super dark, almost borderline disturbing, but kind of like True Detective in the Valiant universe, but with like obviously historical fiction bent to it.
And Tony would like to know, will there be a gold issue?
Oh, a gold edition. So for those of you who don't know, Valiant has some of the greatest fans in all of comics. They're amazing. They're diehards. We get tons of fan letters here every day. And one of the ways that we created, and actually we can't take credit for this, the original founders of Valiant back in the early 90s, Bob Layton, Barry Windsor-Smith, Jim Shooter, the great crew that created these characters and founded this company, created an amazing program called the Gold Logo Program. And what that means is, Adam, do you have a gold book? You know what? I saw one. Right here. I got one. There you go. This is a gold Faith #1. This book, this gold logo edition of Faith #1, you cannot buy this. You cannot go to your store and get it. You cannot order it out of a previous catalog. The only way to get this is by demonstrating an amazing show of fan support for Valiant. Come to a convention dressed as your favorite character. Get your customized license plate to say Ninjak. Name your firstborn child, Ivar. You will get a gold logo comic. Or come to one of our panels, ask a question, show your support that way. You'll get a gold logo book. Everyone who comes to a Valiant panel walks away with a gold logo comic. So there's a criteria that we use to determine whether or not an issue gets a gold logo book. I don't know if that's going to apply to Britannia. It is certainly possible, but come see us at a con and ask us next time you see one of us from Valiant.
What display of fan support immediately comes to mind? Like, has someone come cosplay as Bloodshot, just eating a bunch of raw meat? What has stood out to you?
I cannot advise that from a hygiene, public safety standpoint. Sure, I can say that would probably get you a gold logo book. Best thing I've seen was we had a group, it was actually last year at Baltimore ComicCon, had a group of renegades, Harbinger renegades, full on together team. So that was like 4 times the awesome of what you normally see. But we've had people do all sorts of crazy stuff. What's the craziest one, Adam?
Jesse, I would say Jesse. Jesse's last name. You'll actually see a picture of him in Walter's office if you go by there. But Jesse was just a Valiant fan and showed up in cosplay as Bloodshot, and he was just wearing a Bloodshot T-shirt. He was doing pretty good cosplay. But Dinesh challenged him to go and get ripped, so that he could take his shirt off and be Bloodshot, and just paint himself white with the logo. And I swear to God, in less than a year, this kid went from being kind of doughy-looking accountant dude to like, honest to God, personal trainer rock star. It was amazing.
Yep. So lesson being, read Valiant comic books. You'll get ripped out.
That's right.
I heard there was a wedding
example.
proposal as
Yeah,
well.
there was a marriage proposal at one time between.
Whoa! I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. I wasn't there, but I heard about it. Faith cosplayer and her boyfriend showed up at the booth, and he surprised her and proposed to her.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Yeah. It's really cute.
So get ripped out or get married. We'll get you a girlfriend or a boyfriend. We promise. Can I introduce you two fine gentlemen?
Of course.
Do you have a second?
Yeah.
Oh, dramatic slow turn reveal. This is Mr. Robert Myers, our managing editor here at Valiant, and this is John Petrie, sales manager extraordinaire. Now, Robert, what does a managing editor do, per se?
Currently, right now, what I'm trying to do is get our file management system kind of standardized. I am in charge of all the cover processing, which if you know Valiant, you know we have a lot of covers. And then I'm also, I head up the freelance payroll, so I make sure our fine, talented folks get paid.
Yep. So Robert's in charge of the details. He makes sure all the boxes are checked, everything's in the right place. We go to find cover B for XO49 online in our file management system. I know exactly where to get it to send it to a fine retailer like Midtown Comics. John, now we have two big conventions coming up this weekend, Baltimore
Yes.
Fan Expo. Where are you going to find yourself?
I will be in Baltimore. Come by, say hello, get your XO49 embossed.
Yep. Do you have the embosser?
Not only I have the embosser, I actually have an embossed cover.
So I had mentioned that we were in Richmond a couple weeks ago to officially pull the 1 millionth copy of Exo Manowar, written by Robert Venditti, since the 2012 relaunch, off the production line. We did that, and to officiate that, that was an issue of Exo Manowar 49. Come see us at Baltimore, and we have specially produced this limited edition stamp. This one got a little rough around the edges, but this is the Exo Manowar by Robert Venditti, 1 millionth issue copy, official seal. The only time you'll be able to get your book embossed with this seal is at Baltimore ComicCon in honor of the 1 millionth copy of Exo Manowar sold. You'll also be able to see that actual physical copy of Exo Manowar at the show. The good folks at CGC took that book from us, have had it inserted into one of their protective cases and graded. We're going to receive that at Baltimore ComicCon. It will be put on display, and then following the show, it's going to go into Jeppy's Entertainment Museum. Right there in Baltimore with some of the rarest and most valuable comic books in the world. If you've never been to Jeppy's Entertainment Museum, you should. It's like the Batcave in real life. You can see an Action Comics #1, you can see a Batman 27, and you'll be able to see the millionth copy of Exo Manowar. It's pretty awesome stuff. Now, the most important people at Valiant, the ones who really keep the ship going, our incredible cast of Valiant interns. Do you guys want to say hello? Hello! Do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Carissa Berlioz.
Alexander Jones.
Jason Conover.
Where do we know this guy from? He works at Midtown Comics too. Yep. So these guys do an amazing cast of tasks for us. Alexander, what's something that you might work on in a given day?
Putting the press releases to the website.
Cool.
And then getting the comps out to reviewers, working on other back-end stuff for Robert.
Jason, how about yourself?
I help with the web store, make sure it's all organized and looking good, and right now currently getting files together appropriately named.
Cool. So these guys do a ton of stuff. Every single person in here is awesome, has been totally killing it over the course of the summer. We love having you guys here. If you ever want to be a Valiant intern, send in resume to inquiries@valiantentertainment.com. Our crack team of staff who you're about to go see on the other side of the office are going to be the ones who look at it. So now you get a chance to size them up, get a little inside track on that. Thank you guys.
So it sounds like you just answered a question that David Ross had as well. How do I get a job with you guys? Is it inquiries?
Yeah.
Email there as well.
We are a small company. There's only about 25, 30 people who work here. So it's rare that opportunities do come up, but I will say that we are constantly growing, and every person here at Valiant that works here has one commonality in person, which is A, that you love comics, and B, that you're exceedingly hungry, don't mind working some late hours, and are willing to get your hands dirty. So if Valiant's something that you're really, really passionate about, come see one of us at a convention. Send us that email if you don't have that opportunity, if there's not a convention in your town. But yeah, you never know what kind of skill set may lend itself to working in comics. It's a hard industry to break into. I'm sure everyone who's a comic book fan knows that, but you know, like I said, passion and a little bit of know-how went out in the end. So this is some of our old decorations. We have a mix of 2012 Valiant covers as well as some classic ones. One of my favorites being Joe Quesada Ninjak. And then let's pop in here and see these gentlemen. Oh no, did Tom Brennan go to lunch? I don't know. Oh. Well, this is our editorial office. A lot of your favorite Valiant comics come out of this room. This, and most of them from Mr. Kyle Andrukowitz, editor of such titles as Divinity, 4001 AD, Bloodshot Reborn. Anything on this, Kyle?
Working on Ninjak right now. Those have been the big ones. The Valiant way back when.
What are you working on right now that you're excited about?
Right now, comics-wise, we are getting ready for a big arc of Ninjak that I'm very excited about. We are wrapping up. 4001's all over, so we're kind of taking a look at what's next there, and we're getting ready for the next phase of Divinity.
Yep. Stay tuned. You heard us talking about December previews and what's going to be coming up for the launch of Divinity 3. It's going to be a bigger thing than you may have previously imagined. Certainly bigger than anything you've seen from Divinity in the past. So if you're a Valiant fan, if you're a fan of like sci-fi comics in general, if you just like any good comics, if you like good stories, read Divinity 3.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that assessment?
I mean, Divinity is one of the best series I've ever worked on. It was kind of like lightning in a bottle, that first series, and everything to come after it has been really organic and surprisingly, like, it's just amazing how, I thought that first series should have been, like, I was the one who thought it should be a standalone, but Matt just kept coming up with ideas, and, you know, we've got Mishka now, and the stuff that comes next, spinning out of Mishka's arrival is crazy, but it's going to be awesome.
Yep. And then this desk would be Mr. Tom Brennan, who edits Exo Manowar, edits Faith, edits Generation Zero.
Yep.
He just had to step out. Sorry, missed him. But I wonder if I won't rifle through his desk next time. Next time, baby. Next time we'll look at some Exo 50. And so we're heading into the other side of the bullpen here. Another vitally important person from Valiant, Mr. Peter Stern.
Hello.
So Peter Stern is our operations manager. You heard us talk about previously the Valiant Universe Handbook. That is all Peter's doing. Peter edited that entire thing and wrote large portions of it. So if you have a gripe about the way that he phrased Bloodshot's powers,
Keep it to yourself.
You address it to Peter Stern at Valiant Entertainment, New York, New York. And he will have to personally answer for that.
It's Peter S.
Yes. So what else do you work on a daily basis, Pete?
I work on our trades publication schedule and making sure that they are put together and out on time. Our digital editions and our licensed product, like
Exo Mug.
Oh well, yes. This is one of our rejected.
Was that solicited yet? Oh, can't
it
show that. Nope. Sorry, guys. How about this officially licensed product? The Ninjak Mug. Nothing says it's morning in America like a nice cup of Ninjak to begin your day. Know what I'm saying? This is one of my personal favorites. Do you still use your Ninjak Mug every day?
Well, I have to keep it mint in box. It's, it's more valuable that way.
But if you read Valiant Comics digitally, which I don't imagine you would because you're on the Midtown Comics page, all of those digital files get passed across Peter's desk. He's the person who makes sure that other comic services, who shall remain nameless, are getting their files out on the interwebs every day, in addition to making sure the printer gets all of our files for hardcovers, omnibuses, trade paperbacks, and the like. Jeff.
No problem.
Okay. This is Jeff Walker, another one of the vitally important people here at Valiant. Production and design manager. Jeff puts together the books. So, what's the process for comics? We receive how many art files come across your desk in a week?
Basically, depending on how many books go out during the week, we'll get the full about 20 to 40 pages, depending on the book. We get the artwork and lettering from some talented artists, and myself and another production manager put together and make fine comic books out of it.
Yep. So, Jeff is often here, wee small hours of the morning, as books go to the printer, taking final colors from a colorist, letters from a letterer, overlaying them, making sure they're all ship shape to get approved by Editorial, and then it's exported into a PDF and sent to the printer. And then he has to do that often several hundred times when you're doing multiple comics a week. So it is a thankless job, but a vitally important one, and Jeff rocks it out every week. So that's another example of the behind-the-scenes work that's going on with every one of those comics that you pick up. It's not just the writers, not just the artists, but also editors, production staff, interns, proofreading, all that stuff. Tons of hands on a comic book in a given week. Okay. This is my office as the marketing director at Valiant. Like most of the stuff that you see from Valiant that's on an actual story page or a cover in a comic comes across my desk, whether it be a press release or a house ad or a poster that you see in your store. I have the fun job of working on all that stuff. I'm big on decorating my office, as you can see. There are some things from other companies in here because I'm a massive comic book fan, just like pretty much everyone who works here. You wouldn't be working in a crazy business like comics if you didn't love it. The thing of most important interest to you guys, or most relevant interest, would be I have my collection of Valiant art that I keep in the office. I got a page from Quantum and Woody number 3 or 4, I think, which is by Tom Fowler. It's one of the first appearances of the GOAT, with him hitting the self-destruct button on Edison's Islands. Page from Exo Manowar number 1, the very first book that Valiant put out, by Carrie Nord. Miko Soyan Harbinger Wars page, one of my personal favorites, my favorite Peter Stanchek up there in the corner. There's a splash page from Bloodshot, from the first arc of Bloodshot by Manuel Garcia, and then a page that I bought my favorite scene from any Valiant comic ever, from Harbinger Wars number 2, which is after Bloodshot gets his face blown off, and he's sitting in a car with the kid, and the kid tells him that he needs to get back into action. He said, "Kid, you're my least favorite one," because he doesn't have any lips, and it's awesome. This is Walter. He's busy working.
I'm kind of freelancers. I'm very busy.
Walter is our VP of Operations. Like he said, make sure everyone's getting paid, making sure that a whole host of things, most of our legal obligations and stuff. Just a quick peek in here. This is my good friend Josh Johns, who's our the office of Josh Johns, whose his title is Associate Director of Digital Media and Development. He is not in the office this week, but as you can see, he is a massive Georgia Bulldogs fan, and he will yell at me if I don't mention that.
So Ted Alexander from downtown, he demands more Matthew Klein.
Oh, is Matthew Klein in the Matthew sighting? Oh,
I'm better than a Charizard. Hi guys.
Someone demanded a personal appearance from you.
Ted Alexander, the town downtown.
No, Teddy Bear. Love him so. Hi, I'm Matthew Klein. I'm one of the sales managers here at Valiant Entertainment. Basically, my job is to make sure that your local comic book shop has everything they possibly could need from Valiant, and to let them know that we are here for them 24/7. So if there's anything you need at your local shop, let us know. You reach out to us on Twitter, Instagram. Believe it or not, my email is out there 50 million times with the Valiant logo on there. So please, we're here day and night for you to make sure your local comic shop has everything. And if you like this mug, come see me if you're in Toronto area this weekend at Fan Expo Canada, booth 838. Again, that's 838. Meet me in person. I promise I'm not as scary as I come off on camera.
You just exude charisma.
Yeah, I exude something. Thanks.
We also have a comment from, let's see, Ross Machad.
Okay.
More War Mother.
More War Mother. So War Mother's a character that we introduced with a special one-shot during the 4001 AD crossover. It was a one-shot that came out last month in August. As you guys know, Fred Van Lente, who co-created that character, has a long history with Valiant, one of our most beloved creators, going all the way back to Archer and Armstrong. Fred was just up here to talk about we did a big meeting with Fred last week to talk about some upcoming stuff that's you're going to be seeing very soon in Generation Zero. We might have mentioned that, so stay tuned very, very soon.
David Dalton has a nice comment. He says, thank them for what they do. So thank you.
Oh, that's very nice. Thank you, too. And we're humbled and amazed by the great fans that we meet. There's a lot of comics to choose from. We're very proud of the comics that we make here. And we really appreciate you guys picking them up and following along with what we're doing.
And we have another question from Tony Port. When is Psylords coming out?
So, Psylords, I cannot say anything beyond the teaser that you might have seen in Free Comic Book Day. I know a little bit about what's coming for Psylords, and I was amazed by what we have in the works. That is all I can say. Psylords is going to be a big, big, big thing soon-ish, maybe?
And we have a positive comment from Patrick King. Fred Van Lente's work is so... There's a lot of those.
Oh, good.
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 No exclamation point, though.
No.
So.
Okay. Don't skip on the punctuation, man. That's screwed up. All right, shall we take a trip into see some of the exciting things that my good friend Russ Brown, president of licensing at Valiant, has been working on? So, just pan around Russ's office if you can. Russ is the master. Russ is the master of products and promotions. Has every single cool piece of merchandise that you've seen Valiant offer online at valiantstore.com or on the shelves at Midtown or from us at a show has crossed this man's desk, including some cool stuff that we were just talking about. Russ, what are you working on now that you're excited about?
I think the coolest thing right now is the deck building game with the first time ever figures unpainted of our fun little
tabletop gaming figures.
Tabletop. These come from
Ninjak.
These come from
Livewire.
These come from Catalyst Game Labs, the same guys that did our role play game.
And Catalyst, if you guys know, like one of the biggest names in role playing games. They did Shadowrun.
Yes, they did.
Yep.
Exactly.
And this is an amazing game. We've gotten a huge response to this thing. Do you know what the street date for this is? Next month, coming soon. So we've been sending out some preview copies of this. We've been getting some incredible feedback, and people in the gaming world are very excited about what Valiant's going to be doing in that space.
I believe it's also been officially released that you guys are starting to work on another statue. Is that correct? Someone who looks similar to Bloodshot? I think I saw a press release.
Statue,
Okay.
yes.
Yep. There's an amazing company from Japan called X Plus that has done this magnificent 18-inch Rai statue. One of the most breathtaking products that I've seen Valiant release. And if you guys know, Valiant, there's been huge demand over the years for Valiant to do statues, action figures, all that stuff. It requires an incredible amount of work on the back end to make that happen. Years of production time in some instances to get suitable sculpts done. We just released this amazing Bloodshot by David Adja statue from Quarantine Studios, and then X Plus's Rai is going to be the next one that you're seeing very, very soon.
And probably the most obvious of all things is the short box.
Yeah.
Now available.
So if you're someone like me who loves Valiant Comics, but also has 70 long boxes of comics from other people, you'll finally be glad to know that you can redress them all in your official Valiant short boxes.
So Tony Port does have a relevant question.
Sure.
Russ, love the Bloodshot and Rai statues. When will we see an XO statue? That sounds like a classified
In
question.
development now, has not been announced.
So stay tuned.
Yep.
And Nick Sackhoff says, "This is awesome," with an exclamation point.
Oh, cool. Perfect. I got one more stop for you guys. Thank you, Russ.
Thank you.
Great job, man.
Bye.
Fred.
Oh, hello.
Hello, Mr. Hunter. How are you?
Can I introduce you to our friends from Midtown Comics?
Yes.
Unless you want to take
I will.
take a
Hold
phone
on. Hold on, Dinesh. I'm being interviewed by Midtown Comics, so unless you want to be in the middle of the interview, I'll call you back in a few minutes. Excuse me? I will. Bye. He didn't want to be part of the interview at that moment.
So this is Fred Pierce, certainly one of the most important people at Valiant.
Not really.
Fred is our publisher now, but back in the day, Fred was also a key member of the team at the original Valiant.
I was VP of Manufacturing and Operations at Valiant many years ago.
Yep, and then Fred, if you're like me, if you grew up in comics, your main source of information was Wizard magazine. Fred was one of the great minds that built Wizard.
I wasn't a great mind, I was just the president of Wizard, so, by no means am a great mind any place. But yes, Wizard was a lot of fun.
Yep. Fred, what do you do in a given day at Valiant? What's your day look like?
Basically, I try to make sure that Valiant stays on track. One of the reasons that, we ship all of our books on time is because we look very far ahead. The team works greatly together, the editorial team, the design team,
the marketing team, the social media team. We all work together. So I'll be the one who will warn everybody of what's coming up. I'll warn people, weeks in advance of which deadlines are coming and what has to be done. Special books like our prestige covers, need special care. Our books that are being polybagged, with attached cards need special care, and all the different pieces have to come together at the same time. I'll discuss with Dinesh what our publishing plan is. Generally speaking, Hunter, Dinesh, Warren will be the main people, but then I'll weigh in on what I think is good from a perspective from a company-wide perspective. I'll set up the work plans. I work with the sales department very closely, and I work with the design department very closely.
And you share this office with Dinesh, who's not here. He's in LA this week.
Dinesh is the perfect office mate. He's rarely here, so I basically have the office to myself. I try to leave his desk clear. Just now I put some stuff on the desk and on his chair just for sorting. But generally speaking, Dinesh is perfect in many ways, but he's most perfect as an office mate.
Also fun to come in here because you never know what you're going to find. We have all sorts of comics around for reference and stuff, just to have great examples. So I just found this copy of Superman 75, The Death of Superman. I'm going to keep this.
You're welcome.
Adult coloring
and
books.
We have adult coloring books,
Well,
so you have different adult, which I use for reference.
Yes. So if you ever need a stocking stuffer, you know which office to come to.
Yeah.
Speaking of Dinesh and Top Secret, Patrick King wants to know: are there any hints as to when we'll be hearing about the movies?
The movies are being worked on every minute of every day at Valiant. There's lots of exciting stuff I would love to tell you. This is not the appropriate forum to do it, but rest assured, I just came back from a trip out to the West Coast, and I saw some stuff. Man, and it's going to be pretty cool. So we're going to be talking about that stuff very soon. I would say that if you're interested in hearing about what Valiant may be working on outside of comics, take a look at the plans for New York ComicCon that will be announcing very soon. We're going to have a big New York ComicCon this year.
And,
thank you, Mick.
Okay, and that, you'll see, we completed the circuit. That is a 360-degree tour of Valiant headquarters. Greg, any questions?
Yes, we have a few more. Ross Machad says, "Tell Adam thanks so much for the EXO gold he gave me for wearing my EXO shirt to Boston Comic-Con."
Ah, see, there you go. Perfect example. Get a gold, wear a Valiant shirt to a convention, get a gold book.
He says that is outstanding fan service.
There you go.
And we have David who asked about, Patrick who asked about the movies. He said, "You guys are the best. Thanks so much."
Wonderful.
And then we have another comment from David Ross. "I'd like to see some Crisis-type crossover between the old and new Valiants."
That's an interesting idea. We've talked about what the current status of the original universe is. That being said, we are a company that is very much focused on looking forward and not back. But never say never. The closest that we've come to doing that is, you'll see we've done a series of what we've called throwback covers. We brought some of the great original Valiant artists like Sean Chen to do homages in the original Valiant trade dress, original logo, original character designs of what those characters would look like today. Great example. Wait for it. The Bloodshot Reborn number 16 variant, which has been seen on the internet but not in its final trade dressed form. This just came in from the printer. Deathmate homage with drawn by Sean Chen, one of the original Valiant greats, Bloodshot, and then our new character, Deathmate.
And Tony wants to know if Midtown will ever have a Valiant sale. It's definitely something we can discuss.
What's up, man?
You guys offer such low prices for such great quality comics, though.
$9.99 Volume 1 trades. Every great Valiant jumping on point, every Volume 1, always $9.99.
So let's say there are some comic fans out there who have no experience with Valiant. What should they pick up right now? What do you recommend?
There's a couple perennials that I will always suggest. One is Exo Manowar Volume 1. First book that we put out when the universe came back. An amazing creative team, written by Robert Venditti, who you guys may know from his work on Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, as part of the DC Rebirth Initiative. Art by Carrie Nord, Eisner Award-winning artist of Conan, a true giant of the medium, and I think that really set the tone for the kind of stories that the new Valiant was going to tell. Another book in that same vein that's a great introduction to a wider cast of characters beyond Exo alone would be The Valiant, the kind of a self-contained event written by two of our most popular creators, Matt Kint and Jeff Lemire, also two very close friends, their first time working together. They created this magnificent tale spanning like 2,000 years, centered around the Eternal Warrior and Bloodshot, and encompassing pretty much every single character along the way. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the art by Paulo Rivera in that book. Paulo Rivera, also an Eisner Award winner, did Daredevil with Mark Waid, like a true living master of comics. So that is really a great example of the kind of stories that Valiant can tell. And then, of course, also, one that we've seen a huge response to lately is Faith. So, Faith Volume 1 trade just came out, $9.99. It's been a huge seller. It's probably Valiant's best-selling trade of all time. Great jumping on point. Tonally different, not as serious a book. Lighthearted superhero, but a great story written by Jody Hauser, art by Francis Portela and Marguerite Sauvage, and obviously a book that was like created a frenzy in the comic book industry, covered everywhere from People magazine to the Today Show, places that don't normally talk about comics. Very interested in Faith and what a unique character she is in today's comic industry.
So there's already so many great universes out there. There's the Marvel universe, DC's doing great stuff with Rebirth, and a lot of people are working with a limited budget. So sometimes stepping outside of the big two can be a little intimidating. People don't know where to start. Why should readers out there step into the Valiant universe?
Valiant is the only company in comics where there is one primary concern, and that is quality. We are a company that, as you see, we have a staff of 30, 40 people. There are companies in comics that put out 2 or 3 times as many books as we do with smaller staffs. And the reason why we have this number of people working on a company that only publishes between 8 and 10 books a month is because we are trying to keep quality as high as possible. If you pick up a Valiant book, we're well aware of how much comics costs. $4 a pop, you're getting 22 pages of story on average, but we want a Valiant book. We want you to be most excited about picking up a Valiant comic when you get home from the shop. And so we're committed to making that as rich an experience as possible. We do all sorts of crazy stuff that you never see. We have Generation Zero #1 just came out. That's a first issue of comic. That's like a 28, 29 page comic. Britannia is going to be a 40-page book for the same price. Ninjak, 40 pages every month, and features a 22-page lead story and an 8-page side story by Matt Kint. And part and parcel with that, Ninjak being a great example, we have creators who are just obsessed with the properties they're working on. Matt has Ninjak shoes, and a Ninjak shirt, and a Ninjak ring that he wears every time I see him, because he loves working on Ninjak so much. We have a phenomenally dedicated, talented cast of creators. And if you ask me, and I think if you ask a lot of our fans, Valiant is consistently putting out the best superhero comics anywhere in the industry. And I think that's confirmed by things like you see our reviews online. We have amazing reviews for Valiant books, and we have 50 Harvey Award nominations. I mean, that's a record-setting achievement. Not something you see every day.
So if people want to follow Valiant Comics, stay up to date with all the latest announcement, where can they find you guys?
We are on every major social media platform. Go to twitter.com/ValiantComics, facebook.com/ValiantComics. We're also on Instagram and Tumblr. And we are updating there constantly. So whether you want to find out what books we have coming up, or what convention we're going to be at next, check those out, or visit our official website at ValiantUniverse.com. You'll be able to find out everything that Valiant is up to these days.
And you guys have a very busy convention schedule, right?
Yes, we do about 40 conventions a year. And this weekend is a big one. We're going to be at 2 shows. We're going to be at Fan Expo in Toronto and Baltimore ComicCon simultaneously with 2 setups. And then in the coming weeks, you're going to see us at Rose City. And then, hey Andrew, what's the next show after Rose City?
The next show after Rose City, good question.
ValiantUniverse.com. Find out what's up after Rose City.
And you guys will obviously be at New York Comic Con.
New York Comic Con, like I said, we are on 7th Avenue right now, just a few blocks away from the Javits Center. We are exceedingly proud of being a New York company. New York Comic Con is very much our hometown show. We put on a big show every year. We're going to put a lot of effort into this one. As I said, we're going to have a lot of exciting stuff coming up for this show. Some very cool exclusives, a lot of big news. So if you are a Valiant fan and you had to choose one show to be at this year, I would say come to New York Comic Con. And also, we do offer fan tours of the office during New York Comic Con. So stop by the booth. This is something you're interested in. We'll give you a personal version of this toy you just got.
And is there anything else you would like to say to those viewers out there about Valiant?
No, just thank you to Midtown for having us. Always a pleasure to see you, my friend.
Likewise.
Yeah, check out Faith, check out 4001 AD, check out all the books we have coming from the Future of Valiant Initiative. We're a super passionate company. We're super proud of the work that comes through these doors. So thank you to everyone who's showed us support. Thank you to everyone who's out there reading, and thank you to our friends at Midtown.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. High five. We did it.